I'm the Tyrant, and this is the Cortana herself. We're going to do the mission Cortana today on Legendary. Yes, we are.
Awesome. Let's do it. Okay.
Awesome. Thank you, Cortana. Legendary, no doubt.
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to Tyrant's Legendary Guide for Halo 3. Special thanks to Jen Taylor for introducing this mission, Cortana, also the name of her character in the Halo franchise. Thank you for being the sexiest woman in video games. A lot of people deem this as the hardest mission in Halo 3. Really, it isn't that difficult, it's just tricky. It's very random. The combat floods seem to spawn in different places with different weapons and different numbers. Every single time you play this, it plays out differently every time. And then, of course, you've got to deal with the pure forms, which tend to form up on walls and turn into those annoying Venus flytrap things, and they shoot infinite bone matter at you. It's horrible. So today we're going to start out with the shotgun. Try to avoid those little pods that you see on the walls right there. They tend to hold, as you can see, little infection forms. By themselves are pretty harmless. In masses, they can bring down your shields pretty quick. If you have no shields, they will eat you alive. And then, of course, they resurrect bodies of other aliens and other dead flood. They will be quite plentiful throughout this mission, and oh, that's disgusting. I think we just went through Gravemind's butthole. Ugh. I don't know about you, but I'm hungry. Okay, now this is a little bit annoying. This is kind of one of the things I dislike about this mission, is the constant bantering between Gravemind and Cortana. Press X to skip option really would have been preferable here. Okay, let's get crap down into the next area. This is Pelican Hill. This is where I'm going to show you how to first manipulate the location of the flood. We're going to move along. Whoa. We're going to move along this edge right here to avoid the first wave. Slowly but surely. And don't call me Shirley. We're going to move up here. Quickly grab this shield. Whoop. Going to use that to block the flood. Wave 2. And there's the mausoleum of the Arbiter out there in the distance from Halo 2. Now, you don't have to grab the rocket launcher here, but it's the only one in the mission, and it does come in handy, so I do recommend it. Down here, I temporarily recommend trading out your sword for a needler to deal with the carriers at the end of this tunnel. Now, going this route provides the easiest access path. You will have, it's basically the path of least resistance if you go that way, instead of just going straight like I did back in my Mythic difficulty guides. And now we're tripping on Gravemind again. This gets old very quickly. Alright, moving on. You'll notice that Cortana seems to actually be speaking through the hollow panels throughout this mission, and it is very pretty. The scenery is incredible, but it's just between the bantering like this, you know, Chief tripping out on ecstasy, whatever, it kind of takes a little bit of the fun out of it. Now, you can do everything slow and steady here, which I did pretty much in my Mythic 1.0 guide, which you can currently check out on halo.bungie.org. But my strategy here is to keep moving because of the pure forms. If you sit in one place too long, like I said before, they'll form up on walls and just corner you, and it sucks. So we're going to pick up a sword here, as you can see, drop down into the control room, and you want to hug the right-hand side. You're going to grab an active camo over here and run underneath. This will force the flood to the other side of the room, giving you an easy exit. Oh, there's one of those flytrap thingies. Go straight through here, mine the stalker. Got him. There are 2 carriers in this room. Avoid those as well. And this is what I like to call Hell's Corridor. There are tons of pure forms, and there is a rush of combat forms at the end. You're going to save your active camo for the end. You can activate it at any time. I recommend holding out as long as you possibly can. Right about here is typically when I activate it. And I'm going to show you a cool little trick for tackling the next area that I have entitled the Hive, or even the Honeycomb, because it kind of reminds me of a beehive. Now, if you go far enough, let's see if they're gone. Nope, still there. Okay, retreat. Basically, what you want to do here is don't go past the hollow panel, but trigger the grave mind. This will despawn all of the combat forms in the previous area, and the stalkers will all flock to the beginning part. This allows you to go back and grab another active camo to use in the hive. If you go past the hollow panel before going back, then the active camos will despawn. So don't do that. Now, there is a combat form there that was resurrected by an infection form. You can tell if they were resurrected by infection forms, typically by the pods on their back. While with brute combat forms, this isn't really a big deal, it does make a difference when it comes to elites because they will not have shields if they have been brought back to life by an infection form. As you can see, we passed by all those stalkers that have grouped up at the exit right there. And check this out, we have a free active camo. Now we still have to deal with the stalkers. They're going to ignore you for the most part, but if you get too close to them, they can assassinate you and do some really nasty stuff. So we don't want that to happen. So just kind of play it by ear a little bit, wait for a clearing, and then just like go for it. I think we have sort of an opening right here, so we're going to take it, and we're just going to run. Now this is where I have the hardest time. Sometimes I push X by accident thinking I'm reloading because I go back and forth between Halo 3 and Reach all the time. They drastically change the controls every Halo game and I'm tired of it. But the key thing to remember here is do not hit X until you are ready. And typically what I like to do here is go right through this sphincter. God, we couldn't have come up with anything better than that. And then use the active camos to get to the first floor. There is another set of active camouflage equipment up here. If you see a mass of combat forms, use the rocket launcher. Typically, I'll use the rocket launcher for this group right here. There we go. Let's remove that a little bit. Clear the path and plow the road. And we'll use the second one to escape the hive on the upper platform, right about here. And you should have enough time on it to get through there, the next anus, without any issues. Going through this little bone area here, and as you can see, Cortana is getting slightly more frantic, which means we must be getting closer to her.
Submit! End her torment and my own!
God, yes sir. Okay. Moving right along. Past the brute skeletons. Ready that rocket launcher or sword. We're going to get the sword right now. Sometimes some stalkers will be in your way. They won't pay a whole lot of attention to you. I like to use the rocket to kill the ranged flood that's always there on the far end. This is one of those areas that I tend to fight out instead of just try to skip through it. For the most part, you have some pretty good vantage points where you can deal with most of the enemies, and it's far less risky to do it this way. And not to mention, you can rack up some serious points. Keep note, you've got a carbine here. You've got more cloaking if you need it. We're just going to waste the bubble shield because it's absolutely useless to us. You've got a couple of energy swords, and you've got a brute shot on this level too, which you may need later. You've also got some, I guess, what do they call them? Drop shields? I don't know what they are in this game. Deployable covers, that's it. Oh, Venus Flytrap. You can set up if you really want to make this a strategic hideout while you clear the room, but they're not all that necessary. But they are there if you really want them. Racked up some serious points there. Really killing these guys the first go around isn't going to make a difference when you go back through. Not for this particular room anyway, it does in others.
I shall feast upon your bones.
Yeah, he sounds pissed.
This is UNSC AI serial number.
Well, this is not looking good.
452-9. I am a monument to all your sins.
Oh, she's looking mighty green, Pilgrim. Now we have to free Cortana. The moment of truth, folks. The moment of truth.
You found me.
Yes, now give me what I want.
But so much of me is wrong. Out of place. You might be too late.
You know me. When I make a promise.
You keep it. I do know how to pick 'em.
Lucky me. Do you still have it?
The activation index from the first Halo ring. A little souvenir I hung on to, just in case. Got an escape plan?
Thought I'd try shooting my way out. Mix things up a little.
Ah, ha, ha, ha.
Just keep your head down. There's 2 of us in here now, remember?
Oh, a shout back to Halo 1. Gotta love it. Oh man, he's got some serious indigestion.
Last I see,
Spartans do not digest well.
is revealed.
Alright, let's quote unquote mix it up a little. Our goal is now to activate the control panel in the center of this room and destroy the beams that come out of the
We
ceiling.
need to buy some time.
Or reactors, or
This
whatever they're
reactor
called.
start
So
a
we're going
chain
to clear
reaction.
this side first. This
Destroy
is going to
high
be our
charity.
main holdout for clearing most of the rest of the room. And you're going to use just about all of the weapons here to your advantage, which is why I pointed them out earlier. So I hope you were paying attention. You better be listening. Now, with the Flytrap thingies, the ranged forms, the best way to kill them is with sticky grenades, spike grenades, or flame grenades. Obviously, wait till you kill the combat forms that are trying to kill you here first. The elite forms with shields are the worst because they take about 3 hits with the sword to kill, and my arm is terrible. See, this is why I never played baseball. That and getting hit with a solid metal bat a few times definitely sucks. Okay, so we got him. The trajectory of the spike grenades aren't quite as... Oh, God. Is he throwing up? Yeah, okay. Tank Flood can be easily killed with 1 to 2 swipes of the energy sword on any difficulty, but be aware that they do shrug off explosions, and apparently they vomit infection forms, just like you saw there a second ago. Going back to the grenades, the spike grenades seem to be a little bit, have less of a trajectory. So I like to use those sometimes as well. And also, it should be noted that you can headshot Flood by shooting the little cavities in their chest where the infection forms are hiding, as long as they don't have shields like the elites. Okay, so now that we got that, I don't like being out in the open here, so once we've activated the control panel, go back here, retrieve that brute shot, and it only takes a single brute shot round per column to destroy each. Check this out. 1, 2, 3, and clearly the Covenant did not think of this very well. Did I get it? I can't tell from here because we have another one blocking. Yeah, we got it. Alright, so brace yourself because when Gravemind screams, everything in the room moves. Just like that. I have died here before. Oh.
We need to get to Halo. Destroy the Flood once and for all.
When you slice and dice the Flood like that, they will not be resurrected by infection form, so it does come in handy to use the sword. We're going to leave here with a cloaking device, a sword, and we're going to use the carbine to headshot any unshielded Flood combat forms that come in our way. Ew, did I just say come in our way? Okay, so we're just going to slice and dice here, racking up some serious points. We're at over 10,000 right now. This gets a little bit tricky. You want to hug the right-hand side once you're going back through Hell's Corridor. Don't use the active camo unless you really have to. It's much better to use in the return through the control room rather than right here. Otherwise, you have to fight out the control room, which isn't terrible, but it still kind of sucks. Lots of combat forms. There's usually a sword guy in there, too. Okay, mind these guys. Once again, to try to divert attention away from myself, I like to run under here, because they will not follow you most of the time. And then, once again, hug the left-hand side. And right about here, I activate the camouflage. You're going to have Beast Flood. You're going to have Wave 2, which is right behind that door, and Wave 3, which will explode from the wall. Usually a Tank Flood is among them as well, and he died in one hit. Ha ha ha. Sorry, I'm just rambling now. Okay, so you have no equipment. At this point, you should still have plenty of ammo for both your sword and the carbine, and we have a lot of grenades here as well. So we're in pretty good shape so far. Hang out here for just a second. There's usually 2 combat forms lingering below. Neither have shields, so you can kill them both with the carbine. If you want to make sure they don't resurrect, you can always beat their bodies. Not in that kind of way. And if they're in pieces, they cannot come back to life. We got a couple of brute forms here. We're going to headshot those. And there are 2 carriers up ahead as well that you can't see at the moment. But you want to throw a sticky grenade, because if you do that, they won't release infection forms. See, check that out. Double kill, no infection flood. This last part can be a little bit tricky. You want to hang back a little bit and attack any combat forms that assault you first. And this is where it gets... Oh, man, he had a shotgun, too. That could have spelled death. Again, this one's a little bit difficult. The only rule advice I can give you here is just book it straight for the Pelican. Try to be aware of your surroundings as best you can. And if you start taking heavy fire, try to take cover immediately. Stay in cover as long as possible so you can get to that Pelican in one piece. And of course, the Arbiter shows up now after we've already rescued Cortana. Lazy bastard. Okay. So, oh, God, are we going to make it? Oh, jeez, no shields, no shields. Run straight for the Pelican to finish the mission. Come on, come on. Yes! Oh, okay. Oh, I think I beat myself a little there. Just kidding. All right. So, as you can see, the mission really isn't that tough. You just have to know your way around and know how to deal with the flood. So hopefully you found this walkthrough a little bit useful. Thank you for watching. This is the Tyrant with MythicTyrant.com. We only have one more mission to go, and that would be Halo. Thanks again for watching Tyrant's Legendary Guide for Halo 3.